Rapture in a raindrop's realm. Amora always had an uncanny ability to find beauty in the mundane. While most of us would see just a raindrop sliding down a windowpane, she saw an entire universe within it. It wasn't about her imagination, it was about perception. On a gloomy afternoon, while she was staring out of her apartment window, a single raindrop caught her attention. This wasn't any ordinary raindrop. As she looked closer, squinting her eyes and adjusting her focus, the raindrop magnified, and she found herself transported into another world. The landscape was surreal. Skies painted in hues of purple and gold, with floating islands and waterfalls defying gravity. Everything was in perpetual motion, yet there was a serene stillness that blanketed the realm. It was as if time flowed differently there. The inhabitants of this world were ethereal beings, made of light and water, moving gracefully, almost floating. They communicated not with words, but with melodies, each tone carrying emotions and messages. Intrigued and slightly overwhelmed, Amora began to explore. She discovered that this realm thrived on balance. The skies and the waters were interconnected, each element supporting and nourishing the other. Disturbances in this balance could disrupt the very fabric of their existence. But what captivated her most were the crystalline groves. Trees made of shimmering crystal, with leaves resembling droplets, each resonating with a unique frequency. Plucking one was like playing a note on a musical instrument. As Amora wandered, she was approached by Lyra, one of the luminous beings. Lyra, sensing Amora's amazement, began to share the history of their world. It was a realm born out of a cosmic dance between light and water, evolving over eons, finding harmony and balance in its unique way. The two bonded, with Lyra teaching Amora their ways, their music, and their dance. They danced on floating isles, their steps creating ripples that transformed into melodious tunes. And as they danced, Amora felt a deep connection, not just with Lyra, but with the realm itself. However, the realm's balance meant that outsiders couldn't stay indefinitely. The pull of her own world began to tug at Amora's soul. Lyra, understanding the predicament, told Amora that while their time together was short, the memories and connections would last a lifetime. As the moment to depart neared, they stood by one of the gravity-defying waterfalls, letting the mist envelop them. They didn't need words. Their emotions were conveyed through the melodies they created, harmonizing and echoing in the vast expanse. With a final tune and a gentle embrace, Amora felt herself being pulled back, the raindrop's realm fading away, leaving her back in her apartment, the raindrop now just a wet trail on the windowpane. But as she touched the window, a soft tune played in her mind, a reminder of the realm she had visited and the connections she had made. It was proof that sometimes, entire universes can exist in the most unexpected places, one just needs the right perspective to see them. Secrets sung by silver swans. In the land untouched by the march of time, where rivers whispered tales of old, there thrived a lake of unparalleled beauty. The water was as clear as the purest crystal, reflecting the cerulean sky during the day and a tapestry of stars at night. But what set this lake apart was not its pristine waters or the emerald greenery that surrounded it, but its unique inhabitants, swans with feathers as luminous as molten silver. These were not ordinary birds. They possessed an ancient wisdom, handed down through generations. Each evening, as the sun bid its goodbye, they'd gather at the heart of the lake and sing. Their melodies were ethereal, weaving tales of times long past, of love, loss, courage, and betrayal. A village lay at the edge of the lake, and its people held the swans in reverence. It was believed that listening to the swans' songs would provide insights into the future or solutions to troubling problems. However, it was forbidden to approach the swans, for their songs were sacred. Elena, a young woman from the village, was beset with a dilemma. Her heart was torn between her love for a wandering minstrel named Leon and her duty to her family, who wished her to marry a local tradesman. Each evening, she would sit by the lake, hoping to find an answer in the swans' melodies. One fateful evening, as the notes soared and wove around her, Elena felt an irresistible urge. She approached the singing swans, her footsteps silent on the soft grass. To her surprise, the swans did not flee but continued their song, their silver eyes locked onto hers. The melody changed, turning intricate and intense. Images flashed before Elena's eyes, her life with the minstrel, filled with songs and adventures, but also uncertainty and hardships. Then, another vision, of life with the tradesman, marked by stability and comfort, yet lacking the fire of passion. The song ended, leaving Elena in tears. She realized the swans didn't provide a clear answer, but instead, showed her the potential paths her life could take. Weeks passed. One day, a grand celebration was held in the village. Elena stood at the center, not in a bridal dress, but in attire suited for travel. Beside her was Leon, the minstrel, his lute slung over his shoulder. Elena had chosen a life of uncertainty and adventure over comfort. The villagers were shocked, but they respected her choice. As the couple prepared to depart, the silver swans glided over, circling them. They sang a song, different from their usual melodies, filled with hope, adventure, and blessings. Elena and Leon left, their hearts full, knowing that while the future was uncertain, it was theirs to shape. And as they ventured into the world, behind them, the lake shimmered, with the silver swans continuing their timeless serenades. Flickers in the fir forest. In the vastness of the north, where winters were long and the nights even longer, there existed a fir forest so dense that sunlight barely pierced its canopy. Thick blankets of snow covered its floor, and everything seemed to be in a perpetual state of stillness. Yet, as with most places where nature reigned supreme, there was magic lurking in the shadows. Evelyn, a botanist drawn to the remote wilderness by tales of unusual flora, found herself setting camp at the edge of this forest. Her colleagues had dismissed the legends of the forest as mere tales, stories of trees that whispered and luminescent creatures that danced under the moon. But Evelyn's insatiable curiosity had led her here. One evening, while documenting samples, she noticed a faint light out of the corner of her eye. Initially dismissing it as a firefly, she was startled when more lights appeared, flickering and fluttering between the trees. These weren't mere insects, they glowed with a myriad of colors, illuminating patches of snow in a beautiful dance of lights. Captivated, Evelyn decided to follow the lights deeper into the forest. The further she went, the colder it became, but the display of lights grew even more mesmerizing. Eventually, she reached a clearing where the lights swirled and gathered, forming intricate patterns in the air. In the center of this whirlwind of colors stood a majestic fir tree, much older and grander than the others. Its bark was silver, and its needles seemed to shimmer. Beneath it, the snow had melted, revealing a pool of crystal-clear water. Drawn to the pool, Evelyn peered into its depths. The water began to ripple, and images began to form. She saw scenes from her past, memories long forgotten. Then the visions shifted, showing her potential futures, some filled with joy, others with sorrow. As dawn approached, the lights began to retreat, fading back into the forest. The majestic fir tree, too, seemed to revert to a regular tree, its bark now brown and its needles green. Evelyn returned to her camp, her mind abuzz with what she had witnessed. She knew she had encountered something ancient, a magic that the modern world had forgotten. Months turned into years, and Evelyn's discovery remained her secret. She left behind her life in the city and built a cabin near the forest, dedicating herself to its study and protection. People from nearby settlements would sometimes catch glimpses of the mesmerizing lights and come seeking stories or explanations. Evelyn would simply smile and tell them of the wonders of nature, leaving out her own experience. The fir forest remained, its secrets protected. And on some moonlit nights, if one were lucky, they might just witness the enchanting dance of the flickers, a reminder of the magic that still exists in the hidden corners of our world.